The president laid out his position, and I pointed out our views on the matter. So there were several issues, my views on September 18th deadline. I shared my views on the resignation of the cabinet, on the house-to-house registration and the timeline for that, consistent with the work program of GCOM. And so, and then the president shared his views on similar matters. I think it's early, and we hopefully will meet again sometime soon.
That was Jagdeo updating media operatives on his meeting with the head of state earlier today at the State House. In accordance with the recent ruling of the CCJ and constitutional provisions, elections are to be held by September 18th. However, GCOM, which is also bounded by the CCJ ruling, went ahead and commenced house-to-house registration, which could delay early elections until February next year.
We are trying to hold an election as close as possible on a database that we haven't even started creating as yet, because that database, based on their timeline, would be ready sometime next year. That's the NRR. And we already have a time-tested database that has run the gauntlet of 4 elections. And we are not using that, but we are planning to hold an election in the near term on a database that we haven't started creating as yet, not even knowing about the quality of the database. And that database will be created sometime next year. It defies logic.
Further asked whether the opposition would consider extending the timeline for the hosting of elections, Jagdeo lamented the lack of reasonableness from the government.
Right now, we have not made a decision on that because there is no date and there is no reasonableness on the part of the government. I saw Mr. Norton saying that they were prepared to accept that if the ruling is that no house-to-house and you use the claims and objection on the time-tested database and all the parties work together, that was a kind of positive statement that would impel us to work towards a solution, that kind of statement. But when I see some other hardline people saying, oh, it's house to house, regardless of the consequences, election time and database quality and all of that, then there's no room to work there at all. So I want to keep an open mind on these issues, but I made it clear right now we're fast approaching a deadline of September 18, beyond which the government then would be practicing unconstitutional rule. In fact, the government would be unconstitutional totally, period.
Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Leah Hernandez.